Good morning, welcome to London session. I'm looking at AUD/USD paying out at 87%. So volatile, we're just coming up to the 10 AM candle on London time zone. I'm recording live into our prospect group today for the first time in a while, because as you know, Les announced that we can now help people by enabling them to open a broker account for $10 so they can do demo or start to see how to learn it using that. So we've had Australian dollar RBA rate statement, no figures against it. That was the news this morning. Currency strength meter shows, just updated every time you come to it to refresh in case the bars have changed. So we should be taking puts, as we call them in binary options, on Australian dollar. It's 1 bar to 5 on the US dollar. So we want the US dollar for calls if you're trading that currency against these. But I don't trade Euro or GBP in the London session because they're active session pairs. These are what you call out of session pairs for London. So once I've looked at that, I'll come over to HourGlass and have a look and see what the dollar is doing as we're on the 11 o'clock candle. The dollar is bottoming out, so it's looking to push up. It's got the 200 moving average there, so that's looking good. And on the Australian dollar, US dollar, it's given us a put score of 4. You can see it's in the over bought area, and it's called it at, I'll just stop that now. It's called it at 159, and that's at 162. I think I just missed that. I got to get a brilliant entry on that. Where are we? Come back to HourGlass. 16 currency strength, the base currency, as you can see, Australian dollar 16 to US dollar 59. 60. So we want to be taking puts on the Australian dollar. You can see it's now changed its put score of 3, and it's off this line in the middle of the Bollinger Bands, which is a great sort of break and retest. So there it is for the sell. It's down at 134. And I think I may have just caught that. I didn't get, so I am in profit. I didn't get the, I got 143, but I was trying to get in higher up, but I didn't make it in time. So as I say, it's quite volatile because it is paying out at 81%. There was news on it this morning, as I've just said at the beginning, with no figures against it, the RBA rate statement. I'm recording for the first time into the live group to show people they can start learning this, everything that Les and I have put together over the last year, and for only $10, or you can do it on a demo account. So we'll see how we get on with this. It's just a little bit, I've got 40 seconds to go in this trade. You can see 39, it's just, as I said, it's volatile, it's off that 200 moving average. Now this is fixed time, I can't roll over. So I may just, as I said, I didn't get the best entry. I was in at 35 seconds past, so I may not clear this one. But if we come back to, in fact, I'm not going to, and it's gone up again. So that is still good for a put here, because you can see we've got the 200 moving average as red. That's a longer term, what you call an exponential moving average. it's moved back up. Yeah, that's just closed me out at a loss on that one because it's gone back up here at 152, but it is still good for a put. But when you take these trades that are the higher payouts, that's 87%, you've got to expect what we call volatility, because they're moving quite fast, and the brokers know that. And if we look up here at the US dollar, now that's a call, so you can see it's still in, these green lines mean oversold. These are what we look at. So if the dollar is a call, in other words, it is buying and it's off that green, the 200 moving average has now moved to green, then that means it's going to, very shortly, it's going to get stronger. So I missed that trade, and probably on the 5-minute candle, because we trade each 5 minutes, each of these bars is a 5-minute candle. Then once that starts to move up, then sometimes it doesn't always happen on the hour, like on the trade I took, it can happen on the 5 past. So once we see the dollar actually turning, then we'll get that trade again on the Australian dollar for the put, because although the dollar's lost a little bit, it's 53.54 and it did go up to 60, it's still much stronger than the Australian dollar. So just let that screen refresh. We're 4 minutes past, and then I'll come over and show you how to draw the lines. So put score of 4, and you can see it up here. I'm on pocket option, but you may be on another broker. 153, here it is. You see my timer at the bottom, so it's got a new 5-minute candle coming out. That's why it's just, the screen's just flicked, and it's at 154. I've got it set on 3 minutes here. So each time I get into a trade, you might be getting into this trade. I'm not at the moment, so I'm going to go over to TradingView and show you what we do on there. Then you get a fixed 3 minutes. So the good news is you're not getting into that situation with rollovers with the brokers where they give you 30% more time. They used to give us 100%, but it's their private clubs. We have to play by whatever rules they set and work with that. So it increases your risk 30%, it buys you another 30% of time on the rollover, but obviously you get the increased payout. So it's your choice really. I prefer to try to trade without rollovers, to go for the, we are time-based traders, so to go for the precision entry, and of course only take trades that you know you can win. So you can see, the other thing I like about this broker is you can see visually what we call pivots. This is where price is turning, and the highs and lows of the pivots, you can vary them according to the time frame you are looking at. As I say, we're tucked in on 3-minute trades off a 5-minute bar, so only in for 3 minutes, which increases our probability of winning the trade. So as you can see, this is in a downward trend. It's below that moving average. I just got that little kick back up, but you can see now off that 5-minute that the 5 past, you should be clearing that trade comfortably if you got in that. Price is at 142, and on HourGlass it called it at 149. Now it's just turned around again. We don't take trades outside the hour, 15 minute, 30 and 45. The reason I've said about this 5-minute one is because you can see, as it's a volatile trade up at 81% payout, it can do this little bit of sort of fighting, and I'm going to go over and show you the lines, which will probably prove to us, as we see here, 160, and it's drawn a line there at 123. Now if those pivot lines, as they're called, add up, lines of support and resistance add up with 2 longer time frame zones, then they are stronger and they're more difficult for price to punch its way through. So I wouldn't normally take a trade at 5 or 10 past, but if you can see on the hourly, you've done your analysis and see that it was actually, it's just that the US dollar took a while to get its momentum for a call to push up, then you can take that trade you might be taking that trade on the 5 past, not actually on the hour, although the hour is what we aim for. And if you visually look at this chart, where they're all 5 minutes, this is 5 minutes, it's a 5-minute time frame that we trade off with scalpers, then you can see you're looking at your Bollinger Bands, and they're like elastic bands that hold price, and you can see they're just turning in a bit there. And you've got the 200 moving average, which is red, meaning you should be taking sells. We call them puts in this system. And also, if you look at price, just visually look at what the lines tell you. So you can see it hit the Bollinger Band, it broke up through the midline, hit the top of the Bollinger Band. The price will always move in waves like this. Came back down to the Bollinger Band, pushed on through, to the midline, pushed on through to the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So that's its break, and its retest back to that midline, which is why I liked that trade at on the hour, because that midline is so important. And I've seen Matty Pips talk about that, the creator of this strategy. So you can see it is moving down off that red line. So when we're taking puts, we want everything red. So you want red EMA, red Bollinger Band if you're up there, or in this case, we're using the midline. We've got a nice little red line of resistance at 167, and red here for overbought, and red here for overbought. These are showing you the momentum, that the move is there, the momentum in the move. You saw it flick there. So that's what this is telling you. I'm just going to go back up to the dollar before I come over to TradingView. And this says the dollar is a put. So in this instance, and you always want to be checking this. I know we have to refresh this before we move on. So before you take a trade, you should have checked this. And I know it's a bit of a nuisance. It just happens to be the way the alphabet is, that the HourGlass is at the bottom. You've got to come back up unless you've got two-screen computer. But what would have not been congruent for you on that 5 past the hour would have been looking at the, let me get the 5 past there. The dollar did go up. I took the put, and that's why I took the put, but I didn't quite catch that one. But then it did give us the move down, but you can see this moving average on the dollar has now turned to green, saying the dollar is getting stronger. So that should help you. It's still pushing up, so that should help you, but you don't want to be taking it where it says the dollar says put. Now we wanted to put on the Australian dollar, meaning we want this to say a call. I did have the call on the US dollar off the hour, but it's just the volatility, and that's why the brokers are paying out more. And what you've got to note on this US dollar is the green moving average is pushing it up, which should help us in the trade with selling off the Australian dollar against the US dollar. So for the 15 minutes, which would be my next time for a trade, although I have to say on HourGlass, and I was discussing this, Les was discussing on our team call on Sunday night, it tends to shoot straight through the 15-minute. So my next trade will probably be the half hour. And when you're trading, it's all about intense focus and less time on the charts. And that way you will develop the patience and develop the confidence and the profitability in your trading, with that consistency. Because if you look at Australian dollar, US dollar, 16 to 59, US dollar still holding up off that green 200 moving average. Australian dollar still, well, it's just flicked up a bit at 16 from 14, so it's just gained a little bit of strength. And it's not quite down at those oversold lines, so a little bit of sort of consolidation going on. And as we know, price on any pair can move, from the hour to the half hour. There was our previous hour, it moved down to the half hour, it's moved up to the next hour. So it should carry on moving down for this half hour. And there's that line at 0.66 and one at 0.39. So now we've done some analysis. And the other thing about losing a trade when it's paying out at 81%, and this is why we don't take trades that pay out less than 70%, is because you haven't got too much ground to make up. So I'm confident I can make that up. I took a test trade. It didn't work out, but I'm only that 19% off when you're trading these higher currencies. And if you can compound the profit off your first trade to your second trade for the session, then you know, that way you can get back ahead. So you do need to be using Les's withdrawal spreadsheet. It works it all out for you. You've just got to put your daily numbers in. You need to track your daily progress. This is a job, and if you treat it like a job, it will pay you. It will pay you like a job. If you treat it like a hobby, just come on clicking buttons and hope for the best, then you know, it's you just, you know, you're not learning the application of how the financial markets work, so that they work in your best interests. So I'll just go back and check the meter, currency strength meter, then I'm going to go over to TradingView. So 4 bars on the US dollar, still 1 on the Australian dollar, and we always check the Forex factory, which I did earlier on in the session. So puts, as we call them, selling Australian dollar, if this is the pair that you're trading in this London session. Okay, so I haven't got the TradingView open on this screen. Let's give it a moment to load. So you can get a free version of TradingView. You do get adverts pop up. If you're going to be in this regularly, then I suggest you take out the paid version. As we're coming up to Black Friday, towards Christmas, there's often special deals on. But you do need your TradingView set up. So just come over to the Australian dollar. That's that I am on it. So see all these colored lines. It may look a bit overwhelming, but you know, this is all about patterns. You can have them any color you like, and what they represent is a particular time zone. White would be daily, so that's 1 bar, one of those bars, one of those candles. One is 1 day, and I've marked where price hit that line. Yellow is for where price has hit, where 1 bar represents an hour, and where price has hit that level and retested it in that time frame of 1 hour. And purple is 15-minute, same thing. Looking at you'd have 4 15-minute candles in 1 hour, the purple line, and 15 minutes if it meets up with an hourly and maybe a daily, then you know you've got a very powerful level to take a trade off when it hits again, because price will always break and retest and come back to certain levels. It's all patterns and rhythms in the market are exactly the same as how the universe works, or a clock, or a heartbeat, or the tides. You know, it's patterns in the market, and it's not random. Having said that, price can and will do what it wants to do, because all markets are manipulated. And if price decides it wants to be somewhere for a certain time, then no amount of analysis or looking at charts can stop it. So price will want to meet certain levels at certain times, and we can come on to some more of that in-depth analysis later. But these are all the best lines that represent what professional traders use, like this bluey purple one here is the 200 moving average. And see price on the daily, it's just this Australian dollar versus US dollar. It's just wicked off that 200 EMA and something that's called quarter point, which is again something the big banks use. So I just want to see there, that was today, and you can see that it's opened as a strong sell. This green means sell. Some people use red. I like green, and blue are my buy candles. And because it's touched that 200 moving average, which is where price likes to rest, then that tells you that it's finished its upward momentum for today. And indeed, it's now crossed another major level. And we always look left to see what's going to happen right. And I'll explain some of that. So price is moving down in this level now. Because we're scalpers, we're not, this doesn't matter to us because it's 24 hours. So, in a daily candle in one bar, you've got many, many smaller candles as we, like Alice in Wonderland, go down the rabbit hole into the smaller time frames. So very powerful systems that we use. You can make all the money that you wish to and more just by scalping in a few minutes if you learn the system properly. And like all things that you learn, you have to be consistent, disciplined, patient, and be mentally strong and well set up when you come to your computer or use your phone to trade. You need to be focused and concentrating, and I like to do meditation and gratitude first thing in the morning, and get myself set up and my desk clean and tidy, myself sorted out before I trade. It's all part of the psychology of like being a sports person on the playing field, of knowing that you're in charge and you can respect the markets and work with the markets to your advantage. So on the daily, I'm just going to move a white line up to there so I remember where it opened today. And I'm going to move another white line to the bottom, if I can find one to grab. Now this is active, so it's marking that, but of course could very well push on through that. It's just so I know the lowest that it's got to at the moment in this time, in this session zone of this hour that I'm trading, 10 a.m. to 11 UK time. So I'm not going to mark that low one because price is still moving, but I am going to mark the previous candle there. And that shows me where it opened today, because this is where the orders are being filled by the banks and by us retail traders. The probes are to see if there are more buyers up there. There aren't any more buyers up there, and price has opened. This is the solid line, and that's, I've marked where the previous one has closed, and it's the open is there. So that's my daily done. I don't need to really do any more. I could put one here to show me where the highest point of the previous day, but really I've got that quarter point, which is in line with yesterday's open off that quarter point at 500. I won't go into the details of what quarter point is, but they are also lines of support and resistance, but very powerful ones, and you can set them at different increments. We don't trade pips on this system, but each one of these in Forex is set at 25 pips on this HFX, which is binary options trading, which we're scalping. If I was trading Forex, I usually set them at 50, not at 25. So once I've done the daily, I'll come down to the hourly. And for my hourly, I always use yellow. Now, the reason it's important to be consistent, like anything in life, if you look at it, watch a tennis match, how they get themselves set up before they take the serve, it's the same repetitive process. It's because you're programming your computer, your servo, it's called in French, your brain. Server, it is a computer server, and you're programming your subconscious. So every time I come on here, I don't actually have to slow myself down consciously thinking, oh, white line is daily, because I've done it so much, my subconscious knows what those lines are, and that's why it's important to follow systems. So we're marking only the previous candle. Now this is a really nice setup because we've got an indecision candle there. I've got something called the 62 moving average. You don't have to use that on this system. It's just one I've been used to before. The only thing that's against us is our 200 moving averages moving up, which says to me price might be consolidating and changing. This we really want, if we're selling the Australian dollar, we really want this to have already made its move up and price to have come below it, because at the moment it's acting as a floor, supporting it, and it's underneath, which says Australian dollar might be getting stronger and want to move up. But at the moment we're off off that quarter theory, 62 EMA. Today's candle, if you remember on the daily, was the open was a sell. So I'm going to put that yellow line. It's bang on there. It gives us a really wonderful line at the 250 as a very strong ceiling that price will really struggle to push back up. Now you can see it probe down to this daily 0.27. It's trying to get down there, and the hourly did open as a sell, so I just missed that trade. As I say, that I took on the hour here, but it is still pushing down. It's just a little bit of consolidation going on. So I've put one yellow line on. I'm going to find another yellow line, and I'm going to put that there because that is the close of the previous hour and the open of this hour at 171. So if you remember, between 10 a.m. UK time and the 15-minute, we were looking at taking puts, sells, puts, and you can see it on this hourly that we're trading in there. We're trying to catch those puts in there, having done this analysis. And take one more yellow line, and I'm going to put it there because that was the probe down. And I know now on my range, I have a really powerful area here of 0.36 and 74.000, and that is a mass. That's like the biggest magnet in the world, that is. So price, I have no doubt, on AUD/USD will come down to hit this level because this is a whole number, and that is like extra super duper powerful. So that may not happen on the half hour, it may take till the hour, but that's what we should be looking at. So puts, expecting price at 0.36 to 74 flat down here, and it's just a matter of catching it. So we're on the 24 minutes past. Now, normally on this market timing strategy that we use, we look for price to change direction on the hourly and the half hourly. So if it hit down here, then we could take a call as it came back off it on the half hour, but we know that it's going to hit this. And if we look at that 200 moving average, I need to look back left in a minute as well, then it's where is it going to go after that? It's either going to break through, come back up, retest, carry on down, or it's going to reject off it, turn on the half hour, do a retrace up and start to make a move up, gaining strength. And in order to perhaps learn a little bit more about what I think may happen, I may want to come out and look at the overall shape of the pattern on this hourly time frame, which I will do in a minute, and even the 4 hourly, because is the overall trend up or down is what we need to be thinking about. So now I've done my yellow lines, so come over to the 15-minute. And this is why you don't want to just be clicking buttons. I mean, why would you? Because if you do this and get yourself set up, you can take 1 or 2 really super trades, get yourself nicely set up, have a cup of coffee, you can have some music on in the background, and do your trading like that. You don't need to rush it. There's that 162 level, which HourGlass called up. You can see before, green is Tokyo up here. These are time zone, time sessions, trading time sessions of the markets, and yellow is London. So it used that purple 15-minute line as support, and it was also an hourly. It came back up to the daily level, and it's come back now, broken down through it, and you can see that's a break and a retest back to that 168 level, which is a 15-minute and an hourly. So that should tell you you've got a very nice thing going on. I'm talking, so I've kind of missed the timing of my trades. And there it is, still carrying on down. So that gave us that very nice level. I was just unfortunate in my trade that I took. Very unfortunate, I think, looking at this. So now I've put the 15-minute line on there. I can take one more, and I can just put it on the previous candle. That's what we do, is the previous candle, and that gave me that 0.97. So it's formed that new level. Sorry, 102, something like that, 0.98, 102. And you can see it's wicked off it. It doesn't like it. It's trying to push back up. So I'm at 27 minutes past. So I think there'll be a retrace. Oh, it's just hovering around that level between the two, but I need to come to the 5 minute. So I'm not taking a trade till the half past. This is called candle close channels. So similar to Bollinger Bands with a midline, but they give you where price has bottomed out. So nice straight lines. You can see it's using this level of 0.68 on the 5 minute as support. So on our trading, so we're right now in the rabbit hole of where we trade, and we've got a zone of that 0.65 and at the upper level, the 0.99. So that's our range. And you need to look at your market timing. It's pushing up for 28 minutes past. So where's it going to go for the half past? It can carry on down for the hour, remember. So I've just drawn, I just want to put that blue one on. I change that to blue for 5 minutes. And then I want to put one red one on for the top level as resistance there at 108 on the 5 minute. That's my party pink. Well, I'll just put it at slightly lower, 107. 107 down to 0.70 at the moment. So I just want to quickly look out at the hourly. And what you can see happening here is classically now coming back down. You see, if you look left, look at all that along here. So price has no choice but to come back down to this level. It's just been everything I've explained about these major levels, and look at that power there. So it's coming down to meet back up with where the buyers came in and come down to that flat number. I have absolutely no doubt it will hit that 74000 again. So I'm on the 5 minute. I'm going to come back out to that. We don't get into trades just before. That's the half hour, 29 minutes past. Here it's at 100. Come over to HourGlass. Come up to the dollar. Dollar says put. It's only a put score of 1. It's just off that moving average. So the US dollar is struggling, some change going on here. And US dollars are put at 0.94 off the half hour. Now the problem with this one, it's 10 to 59. But the problem with this one is you can see it's in the oversold area. The US dollar was a put, and you can see it's just been ranging along this line. Now, similar to what happened on the hour, we could find that at 5 minutes, 35 minutes past the next 5 minute candle, if we could get this to push back up to that, I'm not sure it's going to go back up to 137, but I haven't got another line of support or resistance apart from that one to look at. But that was just a little buy candle, but it's struggling at this 106 area, which we did have marked on our trading view, remember? But it is in the oversold area. So if you look visually at what's happened off the midline, it's got the, always check you're on the right currency, by the way. And so it's at 104, it called it a 0.94. So it's just pushing up a little bit. These things sometimes are not, it's not an automaton that we're using. I'm just going to refresh this screen. And we'll, and while I'm up here at the top, just have a look at check the dollar again, because the dollar is saying put, which means the dollar is weakening in strength. So I say, okay, then there's some change going on here. What's happened on my currency strength meter? So I've got 4 bars on the US dollar, still got 1 on the Australian dollar. So that's the US dollar has lost a little bit of strength. Come back. So I say, okay, then it says put. It's just hovering around the middle. It's gathering some strength now. It's still got that moving average supporting it nicely. So let's come down to the Australian dollar down here. It says put at 0.94. 0.78, put score of 3. It's just struggling, isn't it, between that. I had that 0.65, if you remember, on our trading view. That's exactly the lines that we drew there. And at the top level, I had 0.99. So I would like it up at 0.99, thereabouts, or 100. You see it said 0.94 there. I would like it at that level. So I missed that one because I was talking, but you know, it's one of those slightly trickier moves, because if you look at the Bollinger Bands, do you see how they're now so close together? Price has got very, very pinched. So, but I want to see, now my next trade would be 45 minutes. I might look at the 35 minutes. We'll just see what's happening on TradingView. 0.83 up here. And I just know I'll put a vertical line on to show you it's on its way down to that level. It can't help itself. So there's my 45-minute mark. It came down. Let me just move this bar. It came down 20, that's 20 past. That's a retrace on the 25 past. It hit off that 100 level. It's just come down to 8.4. And our lowest level on the 5-minute is this 0.6965 sort of zone, which is the 5-minute one. So it's trading in this little range. It's not really giving us a very strong move at the moment. So similar to what's happening here, which is why the payout's bigger. If I come back out, sometimes price can decide. I'll just look on the 4-hourly. So it's made its way all the way up here. It's come back up, but couldn't get quite that high again. And here it is off this level. It's cleared out, what we call cleared out most of this here, but it's still got money sat here, and it's got this very powerful, very, very powerful level, which it's trying to hit. So it is trying to hit that level. It's done, you know, it's done its job up there, and that level, it will want to touch it again. Price loves to do those break and retests. So come back on my, so it's just a question of catching the right timing. So we're at 35. I'll look at, I mean, I may not get it. I'm talking, realize I'm talking a little bit fast this morning. Must be the coffee. So I've got Australian dollar 9 to US dollar 60. Call score of 2 at 0.69, and I'm on the 35 past. It also says B for buy there. Well, the 200 moving average in our favor. So we need to wait. I'm not always so keen, I have to say, on it could go up for the hour and then do another drop, because price always, it's like a bit like one of those old-fashioned catapults. It has to pull itself, you know, in order to ping in the direction it wants to go. So here it comes back up. If it comes back up 35 past, it's just still in this, stuck in this little zone. And I'm not going to change currencies today and look at USD JPY because I've done so much analysis on this today, but I will be back on this afternoon myself doing some trading on the New York session. So I missed the 11 o'clock one, 11 o'clock UK London time. I want to see this push up to this red lines, and then take a put. So it's broken down, retested, but it didn't make much of a lower level. So it could push back right back up to 166 and then carry on down. But we have got that red moving average in our favor. Maybe the timing's just a bit off on the market. Some days it's like that because it's now, and I have seen moves at 40 past and 10 past. So maybe it will change on the 40 minutes. So it is coming up. Our stochastic and RSI is coming up into our overbought area. So we do not want to be taking calls. This is an algorithm working off a computer work, you know, program. So for everything we've just discussed in this last 30, 40 minutes, we don't want to be taking calls for the best probability. You don't want to be taking calls. It's just drawn that line there at 111, the red line off the midline. So, and it's coming up, it's not quite up high enough on the RSI, but I'm liking that again for a put. I'm going to look at trading view, and there it is up at our red line. And look at the 1 minute. Oh, and it's right off my 62 moving average as well. So I think I am going to try a put on this in a minute. 17 to 57, just gained a bit in strength. $105, $108. There's that drop. So I was very disciplined then. I didn't take, there's that moving average, 200 moving average. I'm waiting for the 40 minute. It's above the moving average at the moment, 108. So I'm not so keen on the 45 pass because again, it can carry on up for the hour before turning again. It could well want to turn at 11 to go back down to that whole number. And it's just struggling. Remember, I'm right down on the 1 minute. It has given me a red tick there. Put it back on the 5 minutes so I don't confuse people. 109. So we have got, it has broken through, just trying to break through that previous 5 minute one. And normally we would wait till the 45, not take one on the 40. So I don't want to be too preemptive. So I'll be very good and wait and just look at what the dollar's doing. See, it's using that 200 moving average as support again, which is very good for us thinking about taking puts on the Australian dollar. But actually, this is on the 5 minutes. You see, it's failing, isn't it? Failing a little bit. So I wonder whether the Australian dollar, which is, you know, this is a major Forex pair, is going to want to push up for the hour and then come down. So I'm a bit nervous about trades on the 45. So if in doubt, stay out. I mean, it's annoying if I check back and find I could have won a trade at, looking at what I just analyzed, but it is best to stick to our principles. So 4 on the US dollar to 1 on Australian dollar. HourGlass now says call for the dollar. So that's good for a put. We are on the 40 past candle. So you might be following this and take a put. It's a put at 0, but it's only a put score of 2. So the problem with that at 40 is it's best to wait to 45 because you can see it's ranging in the middle. It's neither flesh, fish nor fowl at the moment. So, and it was a buy there previously. So it's hovering, it's still hovering, and we want to catch it. We want to catch it because it can flick up, it can change. And we've learnt this off Evan Cabral. So it's at 0.84, and time-based traders, you have to be very precise on your entries. So it's best to get as many things as possible lined up that you can. If I had taken that trade, I would have won that. But that isn't the system, you know, that isn't everything lined up in the system. So let's look at our 15-minute level, which now is got a highest line there. Remember, it's purple for 15 minute. And I've got the open of the previous one there. It's quite a small candle though, so it's not easy to use those, but it does line up with the close of the previous one. So I'm going to leave that there, and that's at the 0, that's at 103. and you can see how it went down to 0.66, but it's wicked off it. So this should tell you, this is the 45-minute, this vertical line. This should tell you it's probing down, but it can't, it's just can't get the momentum in the move at the moment. So better to stay out of these ones. There's the 15-minute. So I'm just going to put, I've marked the previous highest. I've got that one as the close and the open. This is I've got this blue one here. I don't need to put a purple 15-minute on. And that was the highest it got up to, was that 116. So just to remind myself, I'm going to clone that and put that there. Then I'm going to come to the hourly, just check what the candle looks like. And it's not getting down to our whole number at the moment. In fact, it's probing down, but it's not moving down that much. It can suddenly make strong moves, as we know. So as I say, it could do some reversal here, half hour up to the hour, up to this point. It could be. I've seen this happen before. The next one is there at 12, and then come down. So we could find that this off the 45 just stays around this zone and carries on up. So we'll have a look. I think I'll move that one there. Just shows me where the lowest it went to on the current hourly candle. And I'm just going to clone that and pop that there, because that shows me the highest that it went to on the hourly. Back to the 15-minute. And there's nothing else I want to change here, except I will put that down at that level, which is on that 0.66067. So it's really not liking that level, isn't it, at the moment? And then back on our 5-minute, and we're 1 minute to the, in fact, our red line, our upper line at 108 on the 5-minute hasn't moved a lot, but our blue line is now up there at 0.72. Little indecision candle there. So it turned on the half hour. It's not carrying on down. If you look here, it used it all as support before. It's carrying on up at the moment for the hour. This is the 45. So it doesn't mean the puts are wrong. It's a question of market timing and clock, using the hourly clock. And we've learnt this off Evan Cabral, major, superb trader. It's coming up. So it's going against the strength, 17 to 57. It's giving us a put score of 4 at 101, which is good. So it's off that line at 111. So we could take that. If I come to the 1 minute, I will take that. I got, what price have I got? So I don't always take trades at the 45, but I've taken that at 111, 3-minute fixed time on this broker. We'll see how we get on with this one. Then that'll be me for this session. So I'm either going to be 1-1 or I'm going to be, and this, remember, is a payout of 81%. So it is more volatile. It's just flicked back to 0. Thanks very much. So maybe I got that wrong then. There it goes. That's the 1 minute. But I will be back on this afternoon. So some, you know, if you're going to risk these higher payouts, then, you know, maybe I should have stayed out of that on the 45. I don't always take the 45, and it is off that line there of resistance as well. So that was an indecision candle. So I think that could be me trying to talk and trade at the same time. But 118. I'm on the 1 minute there. So we don't always come down to these very low levels. 114. 110, and look at HourGlass. As the move changes, the scores will change. So you can see it's just at 105. You need to check your price that you're given on HourGlass and your broker as well. So I am in profit again. So as I say, when you get into these higher payout trades, so I will be 1-1, which means I'm only at 81%. I have not got much ground to make up on my next session, which will be New York. I've got how long in the trade? I've got a minute left on this 5-minute candle. I'm in for 3 minutes fixed time. I can't roll over, which is partly another reason I like using this broker sometimes, because you know, you've done your analysis, you've done all you can, and that's the end of it really. So I just need it to stay below that 200 moving average and my entry line, and that moving average, the blue line you see on the screen, is moving down. So that's acting as a ceiling, pushing price down. It's at 109, and this is why, I mean, we're precision-based traders, time-based traders in this system, and there's no good taking entries if you think, oh well, it's good enough. You know, just stay out of it, and you know, don't, it's not like a forex thing with pips. So there's the move down to our 105. So I'm clearing that comfortably. I've got 10 seconds left in the trade. So that's it for me for this session. So I've spent 45 minutes with you. I've taken 2 trades, one on the hour and one at the 45. I've lost one and I've won one, and it's very bad luck that I lost that hourly one. Sometimes it's because I'm talking, or you know, the move happens slightly towards that sort of 5-minute end. So that one's cleared comfortably, and I'm going to stop the share, see what's in the chat. Thanks ever so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. Thanks, 2 wins. Sarah. Well done. Have to take Callum. See, oh, brilliant. Well done. Les cleared. Brilliant. Thanks ever so much, everyone. And yeah, see you all later. I really appreciate you joining me. Bye for now.
Bye. See ya.
See ya. Bye.